must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
It is ridiculous and it is against the laws of nature that we can have somebody sitting pretty who takes home more money than the credible entrepreneur who is doing actual production of goods and services.
We always say it as it is.
It is only in this country that when a thief is arrested, you hear elders from their tribe saying, "He is our son and he is our thief."
If you are deviant
Yes.
and I call you leader, probably you are already a leader, but you are leading in the wrong direction.
We want to see the role of the youth
Yeah.
in the security,
Yes.
governance,
Yes.
and development.
The youth that I meet and work with here, you know, we call them the millennials and X's and Y's, this and that. They don't necessarily want to live like their fathers and grandfathers, do business like their fathers and grandfathers. They're more independent, they're better educated, and they're the ones that are making everything move in this region.
We look at the issues, we talk about issues that impact people's lives in Africa.
The African peoples themselves continue to cheer bad leaders, and because they cheer them on, they continue to be misled.
Let me ask you, doctor, would you rather be somebody who does not enjoy so much freedom but you are rich?
Yes.
Or you'd rather be poor who you are actually imprisoned by the poverty itself?
My goal is not to come here and say, I want to own this, I want to own that, I want to do this. My goal is we're all happy and I help build a big business here.
Punchline is for Africa, with Africa, from Africa.
A very good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us. This is the People's Court. My name is Miriam Ogutu, and of course we are coming to you from Kenya's capital here in Nairobi, and we do have a lot to talk about today. The by-elections that are happening today that I think have already started in Nakuru and also in Matungu and other places across the country. The latest, there are a lot of political activities have been happening there. We've seen accusations and counter-accusations among the political parties there, as we saw yesterday in Nakuru, we saw yesterday in Bungoma. So much to look at, and also COVID-19. Vaccine is already in the country, but very interesting, Kenyans, others are not very keen in going to get this vaccine. I was watching a news item yesterday where Kenyans across, in the streets are being asked, will you be willing to go and get vaccinated? And they're saying no. I don't think so. And others are saying, you know what, I would like the president to start first and those top officials, and then we can join. So why are Kenyans skeptical and about this vaccination? What is the misinformation? What is it that they might wish to know and they don't know about this vaccine? And so that is what we shall be looking at today, together with the by-elections and, of course, other news-making headlines across the country this morning. I'm joined on the panel by Douglas Kirimi, all the way from Meru County. Douglas, a very good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, Miriam Ogutu, and also to our crew at our headquarters. Good morning to Professor Jared Onyari, my friend Musa Aji, El Madido, and also to our friends across the world who are watching us this morning. Thank you for having me on the show, Miriam.
All right, nice to have you, Douglas. And we are also joined by Musa Abdi Haji from Isiolo County. Musa, good morning.
Good morning, Miriam. Good morning to our fellow panelists. Good morning to everyone. Thank you for having me here.
Very nice to have you. And we're also joined by Professor Jared Onyari. Professor, good morning.
Good morning, Miriam, my fellow panelists, our viewers from wherever they are in the world.
All right, very well. Thank you so much. So the main headline on the Star newspaper: IEBC fresh crisis may delay June referendum. Commissioner Boya Molu falls out with the acting CEO Marjan paralyzing operations. And then down there, 60 nuns, 25 priests die of virus in Tanzania. That is according to the Catholic Church. A D-Day for big guns as IEBC conduct 7 by-elections there. And Raila King clash over formation of Coast Party. And on the Daily Nation, a dose of hope with the arrival of the first consignment of COVID-19 vaccine. Our frontline workers, healthcare givers, teachers and security agents will start receiving the jabs from tomorrow, marking a big step in the war against coronavirus pandemic in the country. And also revealed 10 regional champions for the BBI. And on the side there, Kenyans mourn Barney Wailer. I'm sure even for the people who are not fans of reggae, you know who that is. And on the front pages of the Standard newspaper, revealed ungodly lives of priests. That is the main story there. And then up there, a real battle for Weston starts after court loss. Deputy President loses battle to stop case on grounds that the court lacked jurisdiction as KCAA had not exhausted remedies available to it. I had not even seen that story, but it is on the front pages there of the Standard newspaper, and up there says it's a do-or-die battle for candidates amid rigging claims, and the story is on page 8 of the Standard newspaper. So let's just look at that. All right, so residents of Matungu and Kabuchai constituencies go to the polls to elect new MPs this morning amid claims of a plot to rig the election. Yesterday, ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi claimed some independent and electoral boundaries commission officials met ODM leaders to strategize on how to influence the outcome of the by-election in Matungu. On Tuesday, Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala made similar claims. Mudavadi, who addressed journalists at his Mululu home in Vihiga County, also demanded that IEBC should investigate claims Kakamega County staff were being forced to campaign for Matungu's ODM candidate David Were. So we've seen the accusations there have started. Douglas, how is this likely to play out?
And Miriam, we need to understand that people have tried, and especially people from William Ruto, and I don't understand why William Ruto is bent on sending every MP. Before William Ruto started campaigning for this, his own candidates, we never had people being sent. For example, a member of Rangata constituency, Nixon Korir, has been sent to Kabuchai, all the way to Bungoma in Western Kenya, Miriam. The other day we saw them in Msambweni in their full kara and regalia. At the end of the day, when we used to have these by-elections across the country, the big uncles they would stay in Nairobi, their MPs stay in Nairobi, and people would do their by-elections in peace, Miriam. We have seen a group that has morphed into a violent raid group, and also a group that has been doing voter bribery. The other day I saw Jiada, the gold scammer, who is a supporter of William Ruto, giving out money in 200 shillings notes in Kiamakoma in Kisii County. These things, Miriam, are what asks the people of Kenya. And also, what we are seeing today is a panic from the group of William Ruto, where he even forces the former Rindorf majority in Senate to go in Kabuchai, in Randan Ward. MCA's seats are disturbing these people from Nairobi and all that. All these accusations, now this morning, Cleophas Malala has wrapped Gladys Wanga, the member for Omabi County, MP for Omabi County. And Miriam, these things, Rashida Cheza, a former minister, has wrapped an IBC official this morning. These are things that we don't want to hear. And again, even in ODM, I have to blame them. What was Gladys Wanga doing in Kabuchai? Mm-hmm. These are things that should be handled by people from that county. And I think they are competent party members and party officials from those constituencies and those wards that can be able to have a conversation with the voters. If the campaigns are over, please don't go and disturb the peace in those places. Today we saw John Waruke being chased away from Kabuchai. which is hived off the Rangers Risha constituency. Miriam, these tendencies that we are seeing from the members of parliament and also politicians are not the best situations or scenarios that you can build as a citizenry of this country. I condemn this in the strongest terms possible. If for the people of Kabuchai have to have their member of parliament, ODM should desist from the manner of violence that we are seeing, Ford Kenya and also ANC, Miriam, because at the end of the day, it is for the future of Kenya that we can be able to pride ourselves in holding elections better without the interferences that we are getting from these party uncles, Miriam, because I also tire from why is Gladys Wanga in Kabuchai? Why is the Nixon Koriru in London Ward in Nakuru County? Why are these people being found all over the place, bribing voters and all that? These are things that we should not be able to entertain, and also for IBC and the High Court, they should be able to nullify these elections, because this is a sham, Miriam. By evening we shall hear about some fake winners where voters are being bribed in broad daylight, Miriam. This is not good, Miriam, and I condemn it in the strongest terms possible. And I hope the police are not going to release these politicians. They should face the law, Miriam, because this is bad. If it is taken to 2022, Miriam, it is going to ruin our country, and that is what we don't want, Miriam. Thank you.
All right, very well. So that incident that you mentioned there, I think once the video is ready, we shall have it. Chesa slapping an IEBC official. That is just out of order. And now in the same story, IEBC Commissioner Abdi Yakub Gulie confirmed they had identified and dismissed a county employee who had reportedly been listed as an ICT clerk. Professor Gulie termed the incident as isolated case that need not to paint the entire process in bad light. However, he was at pains to explain how the name of the said county employee found its way into the list of over 600 presiding officers and polling clerks IEBC vetted. So you see, even IEBC's credibility there is under question. So what are the dangers of this? Douglas there is calling for the whole process to be nullified. Well, it just started there. Musa, go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Miriam. A bit of cold here and there. My humble submission, as far as issues of electoral reforms is concerned, Miriam, here, when you look at the history of this electoral boundaries, commission, I see a lot of ineffectiveness in it, Miriam. Reason number one, you remember even when Raila Amolo Odinga was in the CORD camp, Miriam, when he was vying in 2013 and even 2017 and even in 2007 under the leadership of Samuel Kivuitu, he was really saying that this electoral body has more of a political appointment than merit-based appointment, Miriam. And why am I saying this? Their credentials might be hidden, but we know very well, Miriam, if indeed it could not have been political appointment, then they could not have, whoever has killed Msando could have taken away his life. And here comes the same goat now being weaned and now a bit of, looking fresh and new in the name of IEBC, now trying to, having the constitutional mandate of standing in 2022 to conduct the election and even in by-election, Miriam. I will say it in a more pragmatic way. Independent Election Boundary Commission needs reforms, Miriam. And these reforms should not be coming from, politicians themselves. It should be coming from the very foundation, the Constitution of Kenya has mandated the formation of this commission, Miriam. Because what are we seeing here? When Independent and Electoral Boundary Commission every time complaining of inadequate funds to conduct plebiscite, an initiative, a referendum all the time. The other time they were saying they don't have enough money to conduct elections, to conduct verification for BBI signatures. What does it tell you? The office has not well been given financial independence and ability for it, Miriam, to get, that independence, recruitment of its commissioners. We see these commissioners are being taken to parliament for vetting and the president then passes the Miriam. It's purely political. Why can't we have the same structure Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission they are having. Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, they have EACC board, Miriam, which has the only mandate of hiring and firing its senior officials and resource and manpower. And I feel the same should be replicated to IEBC in a way that, yes, they have sometimes the power to fire and hire junior officials there. Let them be given that independence, Miriam, of looking at the merit and the qualification of who can be the commissioner instead of making all the things political. We might say Chebukati might be, having the good intention of leading the commission, but we know he's a political appointee, Miriam. So it finds them in a very hard and, a very rocky place, Miriam, in such times of, when political, atmosphere in this country is really heightening. So my humble submission as far as IBC is concerned, they are failing on their role, Miriam. Their role number one is civic education. They are really failing on their role. You see civic education being conducted only during general elections and during the time of training of this IEBC, returning clerk and, presiding officers. Why can't we have a continuous process of whereby the voters in the system are quickly updated, Miriam, on, dynamics coming out. They can go there directly in public and say one or two things, Miriam, to secure, the bit of civic education. But we are seeing now politicians are the ones who are now engaging in more of civic education on behalf of IEBC, Miriam.
All right. And of course, the kind of civic education the politicians are engaging in is one that is quite loop-sided, because they're looking at it from their own perspective. There's, of course, Gulie, however, said that they are prepared to conduct free and fair elections. Professor, how can free and fair elections be achieved by the IEBC when their credibility is under question right now? One of the clerks there works for the county government, meaning they work for the candidate that is favored by the county government, and they had recruited this person as one of their clerks. So we don't even know how many of them are in there. Are they not supposed to do their due diligence while vetting these people?
Miriam, that is true. That is true. But I want to tell you that even as we are in the panel here, Miriam, we belong to a political party. And even if you don't pronounce, you are a sympathizer to a political party. This is not the first time, Miriam, we are having the civil servant, teachers, and everybody else becoming the officials of IPC. This is not the first time, Miriam. So this thing is being grown out of proportion. IBC doesn't have its own manpower, which it can rely on. In their data bank, Miriam, they have trained some people whom were from time to time, when they require them, they just go their data bank and Miriam, they get it, Miriam. And Miriam, this is an election, Miriam. Tell me which election which has been held in this country or anywhere in the country, Miriam, where we are not having a counter-accusation about rigging. And remember, the people who are claiming about rigging, Miriam, they do not belong to Kabuchai or Matungu or Kiamukama or Rwanda Ward or in Trans Nzoia, Miriam. So, Miriam, this is, even if as much as I do not like the leadership at IBC as constituted, Miriam, sometimes, Miriam, we read a lot of Maris. And this is not the way we treat the civil servants of this country, Miriam. And even there's a point which Musa has put across, Miriam. There's no position, Miriam, where we cannot be appointed by the president, Miriam. You can even see the Chief Justice for the Republic of Kenya, former David Maraga, was appointed by the president. Was he doing the things of the president, Miriam? So, Miriam, once you have entered the office, you serve the people of Kenya as by the rules and by the rules of this country, Miriam. There is a constitution to guide you. So IBC, Miriam, should be given time to conduct the elections. And those people who are going there to campaign, Miriam, we see them in broad daylight breaking the law. You see the IBC which is bribing people? Why can't they talk about their being bribery, Miriam? And if someone, Miriam, has committed a crime, why don't you make a report to the police, to the security agent, Miriam? And if you have broken the law, Miriam, you will be arrested and you will be prosecuted in a court of law. That is how good governance and a country which embraces democracy, Miriam, we do things. Miriam, how does IBC come in when you see somebody in the and I had a problem, Miriam, with this this one who was the Echesa Miriam. How dare you just go and serve an IBC officials, Miriam? As civil servants who is serving this country, Miriam, you take the audacity to go and serve this person, Miriam, and now you come and castigate that IBC is not working? That man has broken the law and he should be charged in a court of law. Anybody who is having evidence that IBC is not going to carry credible election, Miriam, gather evidence and let us meet in court. This is not the first time we have had election being nullified. I submit.
All right, very well. And as you were speaking, Professor, I was seeing them playing that clip. I don't know if you can play it with some sound. I don't know if that is possible. All right, so that we can watch and then talk about it.
Wow, we are doing by who? By who? No, you are doing by who? Our agents are outside the police station, my friend. Witness when why? By who? By who? You cannot chase our agents outside. My friend, there's no fairness here. You can't chase our agents outside. Why are you chasing them outside?
It's quite chaotic since there this morning. Echesa, of course, that was captured on camera slapping an IBC official. Douglas, your reaction?
Miriam, these tendencies started with Aris Wahome when she was a Supremo in Jubilee. When, as a lawyer, she knew that it is she was breaking the law by slapping an IBC official in Kandara constituency. This is unheard of, Miriam. These are officers who are guarding an election, who are making sure that the process goes on well without interferences and all that. But we saw Rashid Echesa with his more emotions today in the morning slap an IBC official. It is very unheard of. That can qualify for their candidates to be disqualified from that election. And me calling for the disqualification of this election in both everywhere for the wards and also for this constituency in Kabuchai. There is nothing wrong with that because, Miriam, there is no democracy. Anyone that will lose that election today, it will not be free and fair because, Miriam, today Rashid Echesa was putting these officials under duress and also slapped them. It is a criminal offense for them to go and interfere with an election that is ongoing, and also for the issues of voter bribery across the wards and also across the Kabuchai ward. Today we have seen Cleopas Marara jump on Gladys Wanga and also slapped her. Because, Miriam, these are things that we should be able to take away from our elections and do this election soberly. And this issue of importing leaders from Nairobi and taking them from Nairobi to whatever places they are going to vote in the name of their votes are going to be stolen. Who is going to steal votes in a ward, Miriam, for them to get an MCA? Miriam, these things that are being painted by William Ruto, that he is preparing his ground for sleeping on the tarmac in 2022 when he is defeated, Miriam, because there is nothing explains why he would import a whole lorry full of MPs and senators, Miriam, and MCAs to go and take them, and including Godi scammers, take them towards a whole constituency, Miriam, feed it with your people in the name of the system wants to rig me. They said the other day there is no system. Why are they afraid, Miriam? We need the people of Kabuchai to have their MP in peace, the people of London to have their election in peace, and also, Miriam, for people in Kiamukoma in Kisi County. People should be given an opportunity to vote for their own leaders without the interferences that we are seeing today. Another Rashid Echesa will rise before the election is concluded today and slap an IBC official who wants to go and stand for an election, and then an IBC official is slapped from their function. Miriam, this is very wrong, and I'm calling for IBC not to be afraid and nullify this election so that the people can have an opportunity to have an election that is the true face of the people and also the will of the people, Miriam. William Ruto through Rashid Echesa is embangoring the will of the people by slapping these IBC officials to put them under duress, Miriam.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's quite interesting there. Musa, the video there showing the former CS Rashid Echesa attacking the IBC official. They are quite unfortunate. What is your reaction? Musa.
Miriam, are you getting me?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Yeah, so as far as Rashid Echesa is concerned, Miriam, I've spoken about ideals all the time, Miriam, in our Kenyan politics. I've spoken about ideologies. You know, someone like Rashid Echeza is as a result of just political. I don't know if it is even can be. Is there any time in politics to define it? But Rashid Echeza is someone who got up the ladder very quickly and also came down the ladder very quickly, Miriam. And I've spoken about, yes, we might have leaders. You might have someone who can speak, someone who can shout, someone who knows the vernacular. But in that sense, does that mean, Miriam, that the same very person has the sense of humility, honor, a good personality, a sense of grace and humanity, Miriam? That is the reason why you shall never see a president or a deputy president in this country, Miriam, resigning. We shall never see the ideal of politics in this country. That is the reason why, no matter how stubborn he is, William Ruto will rather die, but rather will rather die than being told to resign from the power. Zimbabwe, a very struggling country, Miriam, just overcame, a feat which no African nation has ever done, whereby their deputy president, Mohadi, Miriam, decided in the honor and the grace of the office of the deputy president to resign from the job over the sex scandal allegation. That is grace, that is honor, Miriam. People respect you for that. But here is Echeza disgruntled by being removed from the cabinet over his allegations of misuse of funds and firearms, fake firearms, smuggling, deal and tender. Here he is slapping an electoral, a civil servant in that sense, Miriam. Mm-hmm. Echeza should know that civil servant is a father, is a mother, is a relative, is a brother to someone in this country, Miriam. Mm-hmm. We don't have humility. Money politics, I underline, money politics has made us to believe that we can leave alone the ideals and the morals to lead us in our political ideologies, Miriam. In the very nemesis of how Trump was misbehaving, we've never had anyone insulting his mother. We've never had anyone insulting his wife. We've never had Biden team insulting anyone from his relative. You remember very well, Miriam, I remember when John McCain was vying for Republican Party against Barack Obama, and they were in a hall talking. John McCain was talking to his voters, and one woman, one lady stood up and said, I'm afraid of Barack Obama. He's an Arab.
Yes.
He supports Al-Shabaab.
Yes,
he supports.
Yes. I remember that.
He supports this type of group. And John McCain came out and told her, Barack Obama is a senior citizen of this nation. I really respect him. He's patriotic. He's a good guy. Do we have such kind of politics, Miriam? Is it must for National Cohesion and Integration Commission all the time forcing Silvana Sosoro and Arati to come together for them to reconcile? It doesn't need a body or a government intervention, Miriam. What we are lacking here is lack of humility, grace and honor, Miriam. And let me tell you one thing, you might be billionaire, you might have money, you might have influence, but if you don't have humility and grace and honor, Miriam, then there is nowhere you are going. It's like you are just being told you are a disciple of a church, but you don't carry any ideal or morality, Miriam.
Very well. Thank you, Professor. Unfortunate scenes like this, a whole former CS slapping an IEBC official there. Is it a setting stage for perhaps more chaos to come in these by-elections that are happening today?
Miriam, what we have seen is outright thuggery. And as Musa has said, Miriam, from where I sit and I see things, Miriam, that one should not be tolerated. Miriam, this one is going to instill fear to the public, to the civil servants, from serving, from going to indirect themselves, Miriam. So what he has done, Miriam, is in a clear, broad daylight, Echeza has broken the law. Miriam, do you know the Deputy Chief Justice of this country, Nancy Parasa? Do you know what happened to him? In any event,
she pinched her
Nancy
nose.
Parasa did not slap that person. She only pinched.
Yeah, I think she only pointed
and
at the
nose. She was
nose
able to go home.
Yes.
from the office of the deputy chief justice of this country, Miriam. I hope the law apparatus, Miriam, are going to take action. And Miriam, it is our duty, you and I and everybody else, to protect our civil servants, Miriam. That's when they can serve us. By the fact that we call them public service, they are there for our service, Miriam. In any event, Miriam, they might have broken the law, Miriam. In any event, they might have committed an offense. That is not the way to do. You don't carry the law on your hands, Miriam. Who has said that they cannot conspire with those agents and say they have been sent out, Miriam? Anyway, everything needs to be investigated to see whether the alleged officer locked them out, Miriam. This is totally unacceptable, Miriam, and I will want to watch these things into the final conclusion, Miriam. No civil servant serving the people of Kenya in his office, being in a lawful place of performing his duties, Miriam, should be threatened, should be slapped, should be abused, Miriam.
All right, thank you so much. And we also have Jevan Karanja on the panel this morning. Jevan, a very good morning to you. And I don't know, what are your thoughts about what so far has happened in these by-elections?
Okay, thank you, Miriam. Good morning to you, and good morning to my fellow panelists. And good morning to our viewers, wherever they are watching us from. One thing, it's so unfortunate that, Miriam, we have people who feel so much entitled to a point of thinking that they can force their way into the people's will. And that's exactly what is happening with a very notorious party called UDA, a party where all the people who defect from sober parties, that is where they run into. And we have seen today Rashid Chesa slapping a party, IBC official rather. That is so something that we condemn with all possible terms. And it's so unfortunate, because when you do that, you are intimidating. That official will not perform his duties daily well as supposed. Therefore, we call it out. And Miriam, I hope in future we'll have laws that will ensure that those people who engage on such kind of crimes and electoral malpractices will not have a chance to run in any political or elective office. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And of course, apart from Kabuchai and Matungu constituencies, who are going there to elect the members of parliament again today after the former members of parliament died there. Today also, voters in Nakuru's London, Hell's Gate wards and those in Huruma ward in Uasin Gishu go to the polls to elect their representative amid security concerns. The government has pledged to beef up security in London and Hell's Gate wards in Nakuru County, where there were concerns over threats of violence between members of rival political parties fronting candidates in today's by-election. Yesterday, Rift Valley Regional Commissioner George Natembeya dispelled fears that violence was being planned on voting day, saying enough security personnel have been deployed in the 3 wards. Have we not learned anything from the previous elections we've had? Why are we still having violent electoral processes in some parts of this country? Have we learned anything, Douglas?
Miriam, I think we have not learned by now, but what we are seeing today is a very bad precedent. For example, I don't expect President Uhuru Kenyatta's party, Jubilee Party, to be flooding our villages with Murathe, Atuori, and every person that supports the president because an MC is running in my ward in Meru. Those are things that we should be able to give a democratic space to be able to grow in this country, Miriam. And also for us as a people, we should not be excited by these people. I shouldn't expect when Professor Jared Onyari is running for governor in Nyamira, I don't expect myself as a governor from Meru or from any other place, funding that place with over 37 governors and the entourage and everything. Miriam, for us to be able to grow our democracy as a people, we need to be able to stop these tendencies that we are seeing today. Today we saw a clear sign of people or leaders trying to provoke the police officers so that they will be tear gassed, and also claim that the government is planning to do this and this, Miriam. Sometimes I beat the government or the name or organization that is called government, Miriam, because everything bad that goes wrong in this country, the government is after me. When you steal money in this country, government is after me. When you go and bribe voters in this country and you know that now your function or the person that you are supporting, you are putting them at risk of being struck out of that election or that election being disqualified, The government is after me. So Miriam, I think as a people, we need to also stop the way the people of Kabuchai chased away Sirisia member of parliament, John Waruke. They chased him away from bribing the voters and told him and his people to go away. And I think we need to set this precedent. But as people who support different politicians in this country, I don't think, Miriam, we are ready to run, because we have seen Miriam Ruto send over 100 MPs to Musambweni. We have seen him in Kabuchai. Member of Senator Fonandi has been arrested. Didimas Baras has been arrested this morning. They are all bribing voters in these places, Miriam. And at the end of the day, as the people of Kenya, we need to ask ourselves, our leaders are setting a very bad precedent for us. Should we divorce our leaders from giving us instructions the way they are misusing and also using Kenyans? Yes, it is the right time for us as the people of Kenya to desist from being used by these leaders, Miriam, because I don't understand a senator from Nandi who has never stepped in Kabuchai. Today, Kabuchai has been so sweet for them this morning to step there with a few notes, 50 shillings, 100 shillings to bribe voters and all that. And Miriam, this is setting the red carpet for what is going to come into the future. And I'm not afraid to say, if these people are prepared to go and win an election in London Ward, in Kiamokoma, and all those things, small wards and the constituencies, Miriam, they are preparing a bigger ground for 2022, Miriam. And these are politicians with nothing to lose. And I have said before, Miriam, these leaders live in Karen, Kidereshua, and all the posh places. And if residents of Kabuchai are arrested today in these voter bribery crimes and the police officers arrest them, these MPs and senators are not going to spend a night there. William Ruto is not going to go to prison. It is the poor people from Kabuchai, Randan, and Kiamukoma that are going to suffer the consequences of the actions of our leaders. And also, Miriam, I think as a people, it is the high time we divorce politics of violence and deceit and also politics of hypocrisy from our leaders. We need to choose our leaders wisely so that we cannot be subjected by such leaders in these kind of theatrics, Miriam, that we are seeing people being treated to. It is very sad, Miriam, today in 21st century, when leaders can be able to descend on a ward and also disrupt the peace there, Miriam.
Okay.
It is very sad again also, Miriam, to see these people being sent with money to go and bribe voters that have a mind, a soul, and a heart to be able to vote for leaders that they want, Miriam. And at this juncture, I'm asking that this election in Kabuchai, Randan, and Kiamukoma to be nullified with immediate effect so that we can have fresh and free and fair elections, Miriam.
All right. Thank you so much. And of course, there are some elections that is also happening there in Makueni, where the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has moved various polling stations ahead of today's vote in Kitise and, Kithuki, because IBC said that, polling stations that are in schools, which are boarding schools, should be moved because, the schools are ongoing and a lot of schools usually are used as polling stations. But IBC directed that the polling stations that are in boarding schools should be moved. I think that is why also that happened. And even as the by-elections happened today, we know that, a referendum vote is inevitable because that is where the process is right now. And so later on, Kenyans will go to vote. So judging what is happening right now in terms of, the chaos that we see or is anticipated or some, leaders have said will happen, how can then the government prepare its security apparatus, even as we look forward to a referendum vote later on in the middle of the year there, Musa?
Yeah, Miriam.
Yes, go ahead, Professor.
Yeah, we have got enough security officers in this country.
I'm being told you adjust your headroom a little bit, Professor. Thank you.
I'm saying, Miriam, we have got enough security officers in this country. We have got enabling laws, Miriam, in this country, Miriam. The referendum is very important national exercise, Miriam, in our constitution, Miriam. From where I sit, Miriam, you cannot threaten that you will cause chaos in this country when Kenyans are exercising their democratic right to have the elections, Miriam. I have pronounced myself and I'm pronouncing myself, Miriam. Anyone who is contemplating of causing chaos in the modern Kenya, you have got no place. I want to join my fellow panelists in agreeing that you cannot break the law and escape Miriam. What I know, Miriam, IBC will be given enough money to hire the officers, to hire the security officers, Miriam. Kenya is not a banana republic. It's not a banana republic, Miriam. And even if it becomes a banana republic, Miriam, you know, if you commit crimes in this country, the world cannot sit and watch when you violate people's human rights. So what I want to say that, Miriam, let us respect our institutions, which we have put in place, because that's the only sure way, Miriam, we can be able to have stability and peace in this country, Miriam. Remember, Miriam, where we are going to have the referendum, Miriam, in this country, Miriam, is to have the redemption strategy being executed, Miriam, so that other countries can learn out of it, Miriam. Miriam, we are entering into a general election next year, Miriam. And you know what happened in 2017, Miriam? We are not going to behave like an ostrich to see fire and we put our heads on the sand. No, we must confront. And that's why sometimes, Miriam, I am a full fan and supporter of the president and the president and the prime minister, because they saw what gives us problem, Miriam. They talked about a divisive election, and Miriam, this is what the referendum through PBI is going to cure. So nobody will be around, Miriam, to go and cause chaos. Even these characters, Miriam, you have heard, they have been arrested. Let them be charged in court, Miriam. And Miriam, there's this section, Miriam, even if we said in the Bill of Rights, this idea of people going to court, they break the laws and then they go to court and then they get the bond and then they come out. This one, Miriam, should be revisited in the future, Miriam.
All right.
You don't belong to that place. You are not a voter in that place. You are not a resident in that place. You are a trespasser. Even if you have got your freedom of movement and you have got a political party to go and campaign, you are supposed to do it in the confines of the law by being peaceful.
Yeah, and that reminds us when, remember the Kibra, by elections there when...
Yeah, even the Kofia was taken now, Miriam. This is a perennial troubleshooter.
So it's outsiders who bring the troubles in some of these places here. But I just wonder, is this what is likely to happen, in the referendum? And if so, how can the government best prepare to assure Kenyans you will go and you vote, and anybody who tries to break the law there, the law shall meet you with equal force? And perhaps even as you attempt to answer that, Musa, is it about time, because Professor has mentioned something there, is it about time we looked at our laws that govern around electoral violence? Because I don't think we have a law that really addresses that we make it so punitive that, and then we define what that is, because electoral violence comes from incitements and things like that. We've seen that the Commission does very little. So should we have punitive laws around such things that perhaps will act as a way to just have our politicians refrain from such unnecessary activities?
Miriam, Professor Lumumba said once, in Japan, when you are found to be corrupt or greed, one commits suicide. In China, they will kill you. In Europe, they will jail you. But in Africa, they present themselves to elections, Miriam. We've seen elections as a battleground for those people who are trying to sanitize themselves from the evils they have done in their past life, Miriam. Elections and politics have become the new face of the church, Miriam. The church whereby the good Christians are praying have been left now. That is just a political platform. The new front for the church and most, Miriam, are these political elections and elections after elections, Miriam. There is one thing here. Our leaders don't have hearts. These are people who can kill, they can sacrifice for anyone. Why am I saying so? You've seen leaders, Miriam, whom when they will call you for a demonstration and one of the demonstrators or protesters get injured, they will never be liable. They will not be helping a particular individual. They will help you come into that venue by giving you a vehicle or a car, a petrol, nini, everything. But once you are injured in that police or you are tear gassed in that demonstration, you shall be forgotten, Miriam. And why am I saying this? This can only be informed, even not by electoral bodies. President Uhuru Kenyatta has nothing to do with even demonstrations coming up, Miriam, in 2022 or even in this referendum. What we are blaming, whom we are blaming in this is the very ideals political parties have put in place, Miriam. Political parties are now like the poaching game, the game of poaching wildlife and, rhinos and elephants, Miriam, for their tasks, whereby they will only go for the highest bidder and the one who is sought after most in the market, Miriam. Political parties are not really patient enough to provide a breeding ground whereby they can recruit young people as young as age of 18 and 19 years, recruit them, groom them, teach them party ideologies, grow with them, so that when they will reach a certain age, they can also be groomed for political leadership. That is what we mean by political parties in Tanzania and United States of America, Miriam. When you look at Pombe Magufuli, when you look at Jakaya Kikwete, all these are people who have been groomed when they were in university by Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere, Miriam. They were groomed under TANU. They were groomed and told that you should live all the time by the ideals of Ujamaa. No matter how sometimes Magufuli breaks some human rights issues in that country called Tanzania, what Magufuli is known for, he's an economist, Miriam. He cannot let you escape with millions and billions of money when Tanzanians are dying. But what do we have in Kenyan sense? In Kenyan sense, we are having political parties who are grooming goons, who are grooming hard-head, Miriam, leaders, who are grooming leaders with no heart, with no humility, with no honor to vie for political office. Look at United States of America, Miriam. Barack Obama was groomed as early as early 1990s, Miriam, when he was a party mobilizer in Chicago and Hawaii. They became patient until when he rose to the apex of the party and became the president. Do we have such kind of people in this country? No. Unfortunately, William Ruto created Jubilee Party. He created URP, and then he went to Jubilee, and then after that he's now coming with UDA. Leaders with no ideology. For them, political parties and symbols are a means of, it's just a walkover means, a means of getting to something, Miriam. And then what do we have here? We have leaders who are confused, leaders who are capitalists, who can kill for anything, who can sacrifice for anything, Miriam. God gave us economy, God gave us money, God gave us good people, but in this country, Miriam, unfortunately, God denied us leadership, Miriam. We don't have leaders of true values, and Miriam, leaders who can really give honor. A leader who can, stop and say this is wrong. A leader who can stop and say this is right, Miriam. Unfortunately, when you see, as Douglas have put it, it is so unfortunate that a leader of majority, a political leader, a member of parliament is coming down to an MCA elections, Miriam. For your information, by the way, even Donald Trump or Joe Biden, they only attend once in the name of, Democratic or Republican convention events whereby they endorse certain senators, but they don't come to that very final day of campaigning or dying or, working with you. Sometimes even I wonder how some of our leaders are dressing, Miriam. I saw a chaser being dressed in a cap, and I never saw even this man carrying that honorable ministerial job a few years ago. He was looking like a thief, Miriam. I don't understand. What kind of inspiration are we giving to these, what kind of inspiration are these leaders giving to young people, the young generations coming, Miriam? So I will not blame anyone. I will blame the political parties. I will blame that lady called Ndungu, the registrar of political parties. She's just seated there. Parties are very similar. Parties are just coming up with audacious, you cannot be allowed, Miriam, even in the United States of America, to use some symbols like wheelbarrow. They can't allow you to use that. They will tell you, we need you to use a symbol which can be the face of uniting United States of America. That's why you see a donkey and an elephant. An elephant means something huge, capable, strong. United States of America symbolism. A donkey shows hard work, loyalty, and the ability to stand patriotically with your country. But here we are, a wheelbarrow, Miriam. Africans never manufactured wheelbarrow. We were carrying one another on our horsebacks, back in the days. So I submit, Miriam, finally, these political parties, they are the very cause of the kind of leaders they are recruiting. I would not be shocked when I will see Babu Owino shooting someone in a club. I will not be shocked when I will see Jaguar not even speaking correct sentence of an English in the national parliament. I will not be shocked. Because that's how our political parties are, Miriam. They are not backed up by bureaucracy. They are not backed up by the, element of being stable, Miriam.
All right. Thank you so much. And just a reminder there, Jaguar happens to be my member of parliament. Yeah, it just blows my mind. All right, Jevan Karanja, how can we address the issue of electoral violence? I know the BBI is 6, and you can see how elaborately it outlines on how the country can deal with the divisive election and all of that, but it has not given, I don't know if it has given remedy on how to deal and punitive, measures around the people who go ahead and decide to engage in violence anyway. So how can we ensure that these laws are there to look into people who refuse to obey the existing laws and make them so punitive so that when you think about engaging in electoral violence, it becomes a high-risk venture for you? Jevan, to help curb the electoral violence.
Yeah, thank you, Miriam. And I think that we already have the laws. The laws in place, they can deal with people who cause mayhem and havoc.
Are they punitive enough? Are they punitive enough? Maybe they should. If as a leader, if you engage in an electoral violence, maybe you should be barred from ever holding office in this country ever again. Something like that. Because whatever is there is, you'll go to court, you'll be fined, and then you'll be released or whatever it is. And then the next time you still go ahead and engage. So are they punitive enough from where you sit?
Let me say that the problem with this country is not about the laws being punitive or not being punitive, but the people who implement these laws, the people who make the courts, the judiciary, everything. Nobody is willing to ensure that these laws are applied. That is why you see these members of parliament, they commit criminal offenses, they commit electoral offenses, and they disappear with it. And nobody goes to question that. I think the institutions, like the IBC itself, our courts, the police, and so on, they need to wake up and ensure that these people who cause this kind of events and violence and intimidations, blackmail to an IBC official, to journalists, to other members of the society, they are taken to a court of law, and the law should apply and ensure that these leaders serve as Miriam. I think we have a constitution, yes, that is very good, but we have a problem when it comes to applying these laws. I think we have left a very big room, spacious room, where leaders can misbehave and do everything that they want because they know nobody will help them accountable. And I wish that these kind of leaders, when they commit these kind of crimes, the best option is them to remain in custody and to be barred from running into political offices, because that will ensure that others leaders who might be thinking of committing such crimes in future are detained. Therefore, in conclusion, Miriam, I feel like as we head to a general referendum and let alone on the general election, we need to ensure that in this country we have and we ensure that people who qualify the chapter 6 of our constitution that talks of matter of leadership and integrity and so on, and the EACC, IBC, any person who have been deemed or who has been proven to commit such crimes, to engage in corruption, they are not allowed to run to these political offices. Because when did they do that? They do that to protect themselves from the future arrest, to protect themselves, because they go there, they get enough money to buy judges and lawyers. The best option is to protect them from running to political offices, and you ensure we have men and women of integrity running for these political offices. Number 2, Miriam, we Kenyans, I also blame the people who vote in this country. You see, Kenyans, graduates, especially those people who have gone to school, I think they are the most troublesome people in this country in terms of political enlightenment. They go there, they vote because a man from their tribe is running. They vote because someone from their region is running. They vote because of the money. And they are the people who are supposed to be the role models. They are supposed to be the mirror of the society and to enlighten those people who are in our villages. But that does not come to play. Therefore, we voters, we need also to wake up and remember that this country is ours. We are the only people who can build this country, and we can do that by having enlightened voters who can vote using their brains, but not using their hands just to tick without thinking what they are doing. By doing so, we ensure that we curb these kind of leaders getting into position of leadership. Because Miriam, all said and done, the leaders that we have today, they are a reflection of who we are as a society. Therefore, to achieve a wholesome, credible society, a society that is free from all this kind of moral decay and leaders and society, we need to ensure that all of us as a country, we come together and we join hands to ensure that we have good leaders into position of leadership. And that is why I keep insisting, we may pass the BBI, but if we fail to get the right people to implement the document, that will be amount to zero work. Because at the end of the day, we'll have a good document, good writing, good papers, but they are not working for us as a people. Thank you.
Very well. The leadership is a reflection of its people there. Our Lord. So we are that short in. Okay. So now let's just turn to another issue that also is very important for us here in Kenya, as after a year of death, despair, and constant fear of contracting COVID-19, Kenya yesterday opened a new frontier in its fight against the deadly disease. The country received its first batch of vaccines from that Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe likened to heavy artillery in the war against the pandemic that has claimed more than 1,860 lives. And overall, things are definitely getting better. It's truly a great day for Kenya. We now have the equivalent of a bazooka or a machine gun in our fight against the virus, Mr. Kagwe said when he received 1.02 million doses of the AstraZeneca jabs at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport early yesterday. The 1.02 million doses are enough for slightly over 500,000 people, requiring 2 doses 8 to 12 weeks apart, meaning that the country's entire health staff can be inoculated using the first batch. And yesterday I was watching a news item there in one of the leading television stations in the country. And they're just interviewing Kenyans across, across the country of their thoughts, and if at all they will be willing to go and be vaccinated when finally this vaccine will be available for all Kenyans. And a lot of them are quite skeptical, and particularly one lady. She's an older lady there from the Rift Valley who had contracted COVID-19. The husband too, but unfortunately the husband passed on, but she got healed and she's okay now. But she said she'll still not go for the vaccine because one, she's a very strong Catholic follower. She's saying the bishops have not said anything about it, so she does not believe this vaccine, and also she just doesn't trust it. But I think she will trust it if the church leadership there has talked about it. And she appeared very disappointed, and she said they always come out and talk about things that are important. Why is it that they have not come out and told us, this vaccine is safe and things like that? And some Kenyans on the streets there were saying that perhaps we need to see President Uhuru Kenyatta and the cabinet ministers and the top officials there receive this vaccine, so that will inspire some confidence in this vaccine. So in a nutshell, a lot of Kenyans are quite skeptical about this vaccine, which I find to be very fascinating. You'd think people are tired of walking around with the masks and all that, and we've been looking forward to have this vaccine come in the country. Now they're here, and a lot of us are like, I don't think so. And some members of public also saying the government has not carried out enough public awareness around the vaccine. So I think now it will be time for Kenyans to receive this vaccine, the government will have another challenge of getting people to actually go and get these vaccines. And as we know, these vaccines are time and temperature sensitive. You cannot keep them for a very long time. So that is a problem that perhaps the government should start addressing right now. So Douglas, why do you think there's a lot of misinformation, and is the government doing enough in preparing people psychologically to be open to this vaccine?
Douglas is not there.
Whichever, Douglas is not there. Professor, go ahead.
Yeah, Miriam, you can hear the concerns the people are raising, the citizens are raising, Miriam. In any event, Miriam, the 1.25 doses which have been brought to the country, we are starting with the front workers, Miriam. The doctors, the nurses, the health workers, the teachers, and the security officers, Miriam. And in terms of awareness, Miriam, the level of awareness of those people is higher than the ordinary public, civilians, Miriam. So from where I sit, Miriam, here is that you can see there is need for public awareness to be created so that people are aware, Miriam. And Miriam, you know what? This is a pandemic. And more of the civic education needs to be carried out so that people are aware. Because Miriam, nobody will be a fool to start and to masquerade that you know more than even these medical doctors, Miriam. These medical researchers, Miriam. If it is something which is harmful, Miriam,
it is ridiculous and it is against the laws of nature that we can have somebody sitting pretty who takes home more money than the credible entrepreneur who is doing actual production of goods and services.
We always say it as it is.
It is only in this country that when a thief is arrested, you hear elders from their tribe saying, "He is our son and he is our thief."
If you are
Yes.
deviant and I call you leader, probably you are already a leader, but you are leading in the wrong direction.
We want to see the role of the youth
Yeah.
in the security,
Yes.
governance,
Yes.
and development.
The youth that I meet and work with here, you know, we call them the millennials and X's and Y's, this and that. They don't necessarily want to live like their fathers and grandfathers, do business like their fathers and grandfathers. They're more independent, they're better educated, and they're the ones that are making everything move in this region.
We look at the issues, we talk about issues that impact people's lives in